Welcome to Sex, Lies, and Blank Pages with our special guest, Jordan Rosenfeld. Welcome.
Thank you. So excited to be here.
Yes, thank you for coming. I need to know the story about how you and Stacey met. I think that'd be a
Yeah.
perfect starting point.
I
So
feel like Stacey will tell it better.
yeah,
Yeah.
I want to
Throw her under the bus.
it was San Francisco. I think I was on written Darkness of Light. And I felt probably so like above these people. I've written a book. And she at the time you were doing, right? Like
It was,
classes. And I
yeah,
was
it was like a
writing
class
classes,
on like editing or something, I think.
editing something. And I was, of course, at that time going, okay, this is my career path. So I'm
Yeah.
going to go to this. I was
Yeah.
like, felt all good. I'm going to these classes. And right away, like, I did feel right away, like they were just beginning and learning. And I was just like, okay, I've actually done this. And
Yeah.
because I think I just at least done the first, I mean, this is when self-publishing was new. I mean, this was like
Yes.
13 years ago now.
I want to say, is it maybe
Yeah,
more?
because Darkness of Light is
Oh,
not 13 years old. So I'm like,
maybe.
it could have been too much
Okay. Yeah.
for that. And so we just hit it off right away. Like right
Yeah.
away, it was just like we just started talking and like because I kept answering, I think your questions like you'd answer something, and I'm like that kid in class, like,
Totally.
and from
Totally.
there it just boomed to like you've been my developmental editor, you've been my
Yeah.
editor, you've been like like, and then just
Yeah.
like
Gosh.
the
And
friendship.
she breaks my heart because she'd like send me a book and then I'd be like, but it ends there? What?
I still get
And
that from
then,
people.
and then
Stacey's MO.
I know, but this was like she hadn't written the next one yet. And I was like, oh, killing me. So
I
now
don't,
you're lucky readers of
yeah,
your
I
series.
do not read books if I know there's a cliffhanger because my heart can't handle it. Literally, like
Well,
I will wait.
yeah,
And I
she's the queen.
love
She's the
Yeah.
cliffhanger
and I
queen.
love them. I love them. I get
Yeah,
You
them
it's
should
all.
use
great
that
though.
tagline. You should use that tagline to sell
Yeah,
your books.
you're the
My
cliffhanger
editor said
queen.
I'm the cliffhanger queen. Thankfully,
Yeah.
the series is complete. Here you go, babes.
Yeah, right,
Something like that.
right.
That would sell. Yeah. So we know you, but for our audience who is listening,
Yeah.
can you just give us all the
Yeah.
background, all the things?
Sure. I'll try to keep it brief. I am a novelist, so I have three novels out. My most recent is called Fallout. I am a uh, writer of writing craft guides, so I have seven, soon to be eight books on the craft of writing or the craft and process of writing. Some of it's not very, a little bit on adjacent to craft. I've been a freelance journalist for years. I'm a developmental editor. I do some writing coaching. I'm just like I live and breathe the writing life because that's literally the only skill I have. It's like that's all I'm good at. Like don't ask me to do anything else. And yeah, I've really been doing it most of my life. I've been lucky to I actually have a day job now remote where I also write for a living. Fingers crossed in the whole AI whatever this I won't call it a revolution because I'm not that
Yeah.
positive about it. Um the
Apocalypse.
yes, I like it. The
Yeah, it's
AI
more public.
apocalypse.
Yes.
Um yeah, so I do a lot of things and I also edit a lot of things. So I feel really lucky because I read widely. So I really feel like someone who just I love every genre. Like I've rarely met a genre I didn't love, because I just love to read. So
Was there ever a project that you got to edit where you were just like, this is like my pinnacle? Like this is a shining star and I can't believe I got to edit
well,
that.
actually, she's now my good friend. So I had a project that I love so much. I considered becoming a literary agent for like a hot minute. I didn't because I'm not cut out for it. Because I was like, this book needs to be in the world, and it is actually going to be coming out, not because of me per se. Pretty soon. It's called Ink Honey Blossom by Liza Losada Shore, and it is just, I think, one of the most. She's just a brilliant writer. It's in the realm of fantasy, but it's like fantasy as a metaphor for something real that's happening, which all of us who've been reading, like, I don't want to go dark, but like the Epstein Files stuff,
Mhm.
harms done to women. She does a really beautiful job of making it. Yeah. So that book, I can't wait for everybody to read.
When
Of
does
giving
that come
like a
out? It's
sense of
like,
closure when in
yeah.
Yeah.
reality we're not getting closure. We're getting
Right.
quite the opposite of it.
Right. Oh my
I
So
feel
God,
like
for
that's
sure.
why us humans also really love the superhero movies because the bad guy
Yeah.
loses, the good guy wins.
Yeah. We
And
want we
in the
want to be
reality,
saved.
yeah. And I
It
know
rarely
that's another
happens
thing.
that
We're all
way.
waiting for Superman to come save us. I'm like, it's us. I keep using the Harry
Oh my
Potter.
God.
You know, when that scene when he He thinks it's his dad that comes and saves him.
Yes, and it's
Oh, I had
himself.
And then he
chills.
goes,
Yeah.
"Oh my God, Hermione, it's me. It's me." And I'm like, that's when
Yeah.
Americans need to wake up and be like, us, it's me. We need to wake
I
up.
know, it's so
Yeah.
true. Yeah. Has anyone read this book called The Collective by Alison Galen?
No.
It's very cathartic for any woman to read because it's basically like this underground network of women who take justice into their own hands, like where, let's say,
Like
someone who did,
vigilantes?
uh-huh, but they have it, it's very well organized.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it. It's like the story every woman needs. And I was like, let's do it. Let's just make it happen.
Literally, right? Manifesting for the
Yeah.
good, for the
Yeah,
greater
it's
good.
great. Hey,
Reality.
look,
Yeah.
evil for good. It's like the Robin Hood approach, but
Yeah.
taking down corrupt men or whatever.
That's
Yeah.
literally my favorite. That's why I write dark romance. Evil for
I
good,
love it.
literally.
I love it.
Yes, it's
Oh,
addictive,
I know.
especially
Oh,
right
yeah.
now when there's
I
a
bet.
lot of like rage that's building up.
Yeah.
There's so much divisive language, like, and everybody feels on, not everybody, I don't want to manifest that, but there's a lot of people on edge. The
Yeah.
evil for good and feeling like you can release that in a way
Yes.
where it does good in the world, even though it feels really bad to do. I think that that's an
Yes.
important message. I don't know
Yes.
that I'm
Yeah.
going to tell my therapist that. We
Well,
meet.
I think
And
that's Yeah, I think as
I
women need to stand strong because I feel though
yeah.
we're all like, oh, we're not going back, we're not going back, while we're all watching ourselves go back. And
Yeah, right.
like we are so used to being a little bit passive of like, don't be too bitchy, don't stand out, don't do this, that we all
Don't
tend
be
to
too
just
loud.
accept this. Yeah, don't be too
Yeah.
loud.
Yeah.
That we're a little bit accepting this too much. When I keep hearing this, we're not going back. I'm like, really? Because what are we doing?
Yeah.
We're
It
going
looks like
back.
we are too. I
Yeah.
know. There's a lot too about like how we get really comfortable. And so we think, well, someone else will step up. And so it's not going to affect me. I don't need to be the one, but I don't know. Maybe you do need to be the one. But yeah,
Yeah.
and I do think, right, artists, that is one of the ways you can um be a force of change in the world, and even if it's, in a subtle, sly way, you don't have to be out there writing nonfiction or like educational content. But I do think, writing characters that inspire the kind of changes or things you want to see, I think is powerful.
It
And
is.
also sometimes we just need escape too.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
100%. Yeah. Art is a reflection of civil disobedience or
Yes.
civic disobedience, civil disobedience, right?
Yeah.
Civil, yeah.
Which one is it? Did I say it right?
It is civil disobedience, but I feel like
Okay,
civic works also.
Yeah.
Okay,
In this
excellent.
case, yes.
So remember how we were talking about editing out?
Yeah, right. We'll edit that
Oh,
one
we'll
out.
keep it in.
No,
You
we
know
like
what?
that. It's very human.
Very human, yes.
Probably not the only ones with that question.
Oh my God. As Jordan would know, I make up words in my
If
But
Shakespeare
I
can
love
make
that.
up words, we can make up words.
Well,
right.
all language is invented. Come on. I'm
Yes.
a fan. So
Correct.
Yeah. Well, I'll think of a word that I'm like, yeah, that's what that word, and I'm like, that's not at all what that word.
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
I know. It's so
Is it
funny.
close?
Well, but
And my spelling takes a whole other word.
that this is cool because like I have a Gen Z son, right? And so the Gen Z have, if you're my age or older, a lot of the way they talk or words they use, you might be like, "What's that, huh?" And it's like, but it actually isn't that confusing when it's broken down for you, right? And so I think about how language evolves with generations too, and how each generation and cultures and subcultures have their own slang, which is like I just put my latest book on writing craft is called The Sound of Story. So it's about voice and tone. So I've been thinking a lot about these things, like the ways in which characters distinguish themselves, like different words they use, different grammar, different slang. So I think that's one of the cool things about language is it changes, and like let's not be stuffy, be like, no,
Yeah.
we don't say that. So make up the words.
Yeah.
So
Well,
look at our
also the
generation.
words
We had
change. Like
we
the
had
word
rad.
tea. Hmm?
Yeah,
I
What's
said,
that?
look at our generation. We had rad.
I know we're sort of,
We had
which
face and like remember like
We
but
had
that seems
cool.
better
Everything was
than
cool in my high
Cool.
school.
yeah, cool. Well, but your point, like tea changing, or
Yeah,
when I was
tea.
giving this talk, this guy who's like a middle school teacher, and he's got Gen Alphas, and he said he was talking about how when we were in our generation, if like I fell hard, I would say I ate it. But now today, if something's like really cool, you'd be like, oh, that eats or that ate. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I love that, how
Or
it just
slaps.
changes.
That
Yeah, or it
slaps.
slaps.
Yeah.
I know.
I had
or like to crash out.
my sister is 16 and she was like, "Oh, your body is tea." When I came down the stairs and I was like, "Who's talking about it?" Because for me, tea is like gossip.
Right.
So like,
Yeah.
I was like, what's going on? Like I thought it meant a bad thing. And she was like, no, no, no. You can say tea for anything. And I was like, I don't know how
Oh
this
my
works.
God.
Thank you for keeping me young, but like I'm
yeah.
struggling
Right?
to
And you're
catch
like,
up.
man, I've reached the boundary of I'm old now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Switching
oh,
gears though, just a little bit, talking about like
Yeah.
evolution and change of things. You've been in the industry for so
Yes.
long. And I'm sure
Truly.
you've seen a lot of things come and go. You've seen publisher houses
Yeah.
collapse and merge,
Yes.
and
Yes.
you've seen a wave of romance rising, self-publishing, and now I
Yep.
don't want to call it the fall of self-publishing, but perhaps we can call it the saturation and now the
Yeah.
AI competition within not just self-publishing, but the publishing as a whole.
Crazy.
That was a lot for me to throw at you. I was just about to say, what do you tell me what you think about everything that I
Well,
just blurted out and
about
word
that.
vomited.
it's so funny because I'm like, I remember when we used to have to send a query letter in an envelope, like, right? Or in that when it was by email, that was like such a, I'm just old enough to be born before the internet. So like the internet and email were really happening when I was in college. Probably Stacey, I
Same.
think you're a little bit younger than me, Stacey, but at any rate, close. And so for me, it was kind of watching. We one of the things I'm trying to balance is a not to panic that all the good things will be lost at the same time as I'm watching erosion happen, right? Because I remember when ebooks came along, we were terrified that it meant nobody would read anymore or people would stop buying physical books, and they really didn't. So it actually increased over
And
time,
it's on a rise
you
now
know.
as well. Yes.
It
Yeah.
is, and actually, I think the ebook might save us from people not reading at all.
Hmm.
Um, I personally, in fact, the novel I have coming out in 28 is actually about this tension between like human made art and AI. Like it's not really about that per se. It's more about like how we seek to make our lives frictionless and pain-free when really we end up it doesn't really work that
Reading
way,
it.
right?
Yeah.
But so in terms of the industry, I will be honest, I feel like I'm a big question mark right now. Where's it going? What's going to happen? I think there is a pushback among people of a certain age, at least and down, where they're like, I don't want to read books written by AI. I don't want AI everything. But there's also, it seems like more and more people I talk to are like, well, but I use it for but it really helps with this. And I'm like,
Yeah. They
I feel
have
like
their,
we're chipping
yeah.
away,
Yeah. Like their
right?
brain has it like, oh, I don't want it for that, but that's okay over there because that helps me. I've
Yeah.
noticed on a lot of these, I'll scroll through Facebook and especially I'm a lot part of a lot of these groups. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry, and they're gonna get mad at me. This is very
Wait, groups of what? Like,
like
Groups of
reading
what?
groups that are constantly recommending like romance or books or something to
Yeah,
each other. I
mhm.
feel like they're prime for AI. They
totally.
are their details of what they're like, guys, I'm looking for a book that has this and this and this
Yeah.
vibe. And it's always vibes. And I'm like, you guys are so prime for AI because
That's a good
something's
point.
gonna see that, write that exact
Yep.
thing you just said you wanted, and you're gonna be like, well, that it's just this once, I just feel like
Right.
we're
Well, I feel
more
like
we're
the next
prime for
phase,
AI.
it'll be this like service where you're like, I want a book that has XYZ factors, blah, 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 and it'll just spit it out. And I really do think that's coming. I'm like, it's,
So
Do you remember
you
when
know,
Amazon did an April Fool's about that, where you could type
no,
in the book you wanted and it would give an AI book? It came out on April Fool's. Do you remember that? And we were
no,
all
but
no.
freaking, we were the whole industry. No, I
no,
cannot be
I don't know
hallucinating. It was
anymore.
everywhere
I
where
believe
some
it.
people
I
didn't
believe it.
they didn't realize it was April Fool's at first. They just read like the headline in the beginning and were like posting on socials and freaking out. But yeah, Amazon did like an April Fool's and was like, we'd never do that. And the minute I saw it, I was like, I feel like they know
Mhm.
something's coming, and that was a prime.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That
I
was
think
like a
you're
let's
probably right.
feel the response from that.
I mean,
And that was years ago. That
yeah,
was before AI felt threatening.
I feel like this recent kerfuffle with this woman whose book was supposedly written with some AI and is now being pulled from the shelves. Like, I feel really bad for her if it really was like not much, because I do feel like there's this now we're in kind of a witch hunt, right? Like, but at the same
Mhm.
time, a part of me is like, this is good. This is good. We're mad that AI was used, and so
Mhm,
there's still like a little bit of holding on to the
mhm.
tried and true way of doing things. But I think we're all, and I one of the problems with AI, because I've done a lot of research for my book, is that this is so like any society with capitalism as its driving force. Pretty much, it's like we rolled it out before we really understood how it worked or what it was capable of. Like industries just started adopting it left and right. And now I'm reading all of these articles by like some of the inventors or
That are
the
like No,
that
this
are
is
like,
awesome.
yeah, so we could have taken more time to
Yeah.
figure this out before we started like investing our stock market in it. And so like my company that I work for is very much like in the last 6 months, we've just made, I hate this word, we've pivoted to include a lot of AI tools. And
Wait,
yeah,
you don't,
they increase efficiency, but
I'm sorry, you don't like the word pivot?
pivot is very corporate to me.
Ah, I was gonna
I'm
say,
thinking of it in like,
does that meme pivot? Pivot, does that like
oh, I've never seen that. What? See,
from
so old.
Friends?
We're like,
Because
Oh,
I always say I'm
long
a
time ago.
pivoting ballerina
I
juggling
forgot
boss.
about
So
that.
it totally threw me off that you would
Oh,
say
that's
you
so
don't like the
funny.
I
word
just think
pivot.
Friends.
I
Me too.
don't,
Yeah.
you know what? I was like, I watched it, but I wasn't like a hardcore fan. So I'm
Yeah.
not like one of those people that knows the lore and like all, so
Same.
I didn't
That
connect it.
episode is like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've only seen some episodes. I am so sorry to interrupt this
No,
very
not at all.
serious. It was literally such a serious conversation and a really great point.
It's
You guys
totally a
have
good thing to
pivoted.
break up.
Yeah, my whole
Yes.
brain was
Well,
just
my
invested.
company has pivoted. I don't know. I just hear it as like corporate speak, but to include a lot of it and like it would happen so fast. Like
Yeah.
when we start, from the
there's
time I
no
started this
laws.
company to now,
Yeah.
it's like in everything we do. I'm grateful that they still employ writers and editors because that's what I do for them. But I'm also like, how long before I'm just editing the AI?
Exactly.
If
Or
that.
somebody is already doing that and they're
Mhm.
preparing. Like banks are preparing layoffs while editing AI to do their job. And I'm like, this is like, do you really think that you should be relying on that when
I just don't understand. In a world that's full of humans, unless you guys are going to all pay us to do nothing and
I
lay around,
mean,
and,
maybe
like,
a whole bunch of people manifested at the world just doing everything for us, so we're all just gonna live, but it causes so much pollution.
have we
Like
not
maybe
seen
we
Yes.
should
Wall-E?
fix that
Have we not seen
first.
Wall-E?
Yeah.
That's the other thing. I feel like humans, like honestly, I wish I wrote sci-fi because this is really, I mean, my novel has like some speculative elements, but like I really feel like humans are so short-sighted. We're
Yes.
like new technology, shiny new tool, must use. Who cares? What damage? And then the people who really drive it are often the people with the most money, right? The billionaires who are so insulated, and they're like, it's cool. We'll live in bunkers while the rest of the world dies, but that will be interesting.
Literally.
Like
Who's growing
so.
your shit, huh?
I know. I'm just like,
Yeah.
I don't understand this apocalyptic vision that seems to be wanting to come to pass. I like to believe that humans will always push back, but I don't know. I'm
believe
having
you
less
will. I
faith these
believe
days.
good things are coming, and that
These
might
are
sound
these
crazy
are
to say.
half
Yeah,
full,
I
you know,
am.
person.
Okay,
I'm
I
like, we're
appreciate
Yeah.
that. We need that. I certainly don't always come by it myself. You
I'm
do.
like, we're doomed. We're so fucked.
Some days I have hard days. Yesterday I
That's a
had
very like,
hard cries, but yeah.
I feel like it's a very Gen X attitude though. I don't know. Stacey, are you like Zennial or
Oh,
Gen X?
oh,
Right?
Gen
It's like,
X all the way.
Yeah,
yeah, like we're just
millennial.
like,
We're so
yeah, we were
dated.
like, oh, nuclear war is imminent. There's asbestos in every room we live in or go into.
Mhm.
Like we have a very kind of caustic edge. Like, the worst is coming. So
We
it's a
grew
it's
up
a
with
generational thing.
sarcasm and like taking care of ourselves and being a lot more hardcore. And it's so funny because people are like, "Oh, you're always." I'm like, "No, I'm just Gen X. Like I
Yeah,
have like
just
we
true to
are
form.
we're tough. We're tough because
Yeah.
we had to be tough, you know."
Yeah,
But I just this one, there's a lot of things I could say like, okay, like if we had more laws, if we were in a situation where this was coming out and we had the best of role models of our country and that
Mhm.
somebody that really wanted to take care of us as
Maybe
humans.
not our Let's look to a different country. It didn't
Well, no, I'm
somebody
just saying we're
some
not, we do not
yeah,
have that. We
some
have the
other
opposite.
country did. I think it's
Yeah.
France just
No,
passed
it was
a
Switzerland or something like that,
yeah.
or
Norway probably.
Norway that immediately made laws that you cannot take somebody's image and
Yeah,
voice.
deep
Like,
fakes.
yeah,
Yeah, deep
Mhm.
fakes. And then we have our president making deep fakes and
right.
posting them.
Yeah. So,
Ugh.
I
So
know, I
sorry.
know.
So sorry. Trigger warning for some people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Um,
I mean, I don't know. I think it's going to be it's weird to be living in this moment
yeah,
where we're
yeah.
Mhm.
actually watching it
unfold.
unfold because it's like I feel like we're used to being like, oh, history was behind us or something, and it's like
It wasn't that far behind us. And also, like, as a
yeah,
species, we did not evolve to be able to consume so much negative
no,
information constantly. Like,
no,
it is
for sure.
not healthy at all. Our bodies are not ready for this. Like
Our
it is
nervous
a
systems are
constant
like,
state of panic,
The
and there is a
trauma,
response to that. Like
yeah.
we're literally killing ourselves.
The
We
trauma
are not
since
supposed to be doing that.
2016, I think is going to be, I mean, like, I think sadly it's going to affect us for generations now. Like
Yeah.
this trauma through this between COVID, him, what we're going through, it's just every day, multiple times a day. And I think, and again, that's why I think a lot of people are turning to stories, is because there is a need
Yep.
to escape.
absolutely.
Like, I mean, I'm like the worst of my stories that like, would you want to live in this world? And right now I'm like, yes.
Yeah. Even that one. I
Just
know.
a little bit of hope, though. Just a little hope. I do
Yeah.
have they're Gen Alphas, my little 12 and
Yes.
below. They have no interest in social media.
That's
So
great.
There's
a
a new
little
wave.
hope.
So let's hope. Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
a
hope
little
there's a
hope.
wave towards like,
Which is
yeah.
good because I'm not letting them on it anytime soon.
Even my
Not
son
help.
is like that because he started to just pull back from it. You know, he's gotten more into music and reading, you know, which is not even he's 17, almost 18, and that's not necessarily, you know, their thing anymore. Like they stopped reading, but some of them are coming back to it, and that gives me hope too. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's probably also just like common for every time period when there's a lot of like intense change for people to feel negative, scared, go to the darkest, you know, place.
Yep.
Like I think that's pretty human because we haven't been here before. So I also try to remember, well, just because it looks bad right now doesn't mean everything. I'm not saying there's some things that are just empirically bad, but you know, maybe there's hope, maybe there's a solution we haven't seen yet.
The pendulum's
You know.
always swinging, and
Yeah.
it might have swung really hard in one direction, but it will come back.
It will,
That's
but
true.
like I hope in my lifetime.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
That's
we'll
what my
see.
mom keeps
Time
saying.
will tell.
On the way back.
Because you know, you'll read a history book and you'll like be skimming through it and you don't realize that was like 200 years you just went through in like lunch period. You know, like that's the problem is it's the when will
How
it swing
long?
back in, you know, how
Well,
long?
another positive things happen
See, I'm so
faster
happy
now
I'm so Gen X.
because we have more education and we get our education faster.
That's true. We have
Because,
more access to information.
more
That's
access.
very true.
Yes.
Yeah, I
So
think
there are
so.
glimmers. There are glimmers
There
of
are
hope.
glimmers.
Mhm.
I
There are like
never
our twinkle
fully lose
fairy.
hope.
Stacy is on are you on this side, Stacy, if I go like this?
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
yeah. Stacy is in the pessimist and I'm in the optimist. She's
Totally.
at the bottom of the glass. I'm at the top of the glass.
love
We
it.
just
I think
reside there.
I'm just in the glass where the tequila is. Just and that's another thing I've heard that like this new generation isn't drinking, and I'm like, do they need to bring Gen X back? We'll take
Well, they're
care of
doing pot. They smoke pot. Like
They
they have
vape.
their vice. Yeah, they vape.
it. The whole
Yeah.
alcohol industry is
Not healthy.
crashing. I'm like, well, I guess we'll just have to
First-
come out of the woodwork.
You know what else though? Honestly, like they probably can't freaking afford it. Like
Yeah.
alcohol,
It's
it
true.
costs money unless you're buying really cheap crap. Like these kids are cost of living. So my day job is personal finance writing.
Oh, fun.
I
That
mean-
sounds like a zinger right there.
Well, I've learned a lot. Let's put it that way. So
Yeah.
one of the things that I'm aware of through what I write about is just how strapped and stressed, particularly Gen Z, but even younger millennials, because like, and it, you know, inflation since the pandemic, we've already had inflation. And then right now what's happening is chaos, you know, tariffs and oil and war in Iran and all stuff like that. So people are just like, I'm going to save my money for like a nice Netflix night at home and like, you know, some snacks. I'm not buying alcohol. I'm not buying, you know, that's what it seems to be partly driving
And then
it.
there's
But
me. I refuse to raw dog this. I need vodka. I need wine.
well, I mean,
don't wanna
I
have
admire
all
them.
my- Yeah.
I mean, as someone who comes from an alcoholic family, and I do drink alcohol, not
Mhm.
frequently, I do respect, and I'm like, maybe this will be the generation that like finally gets moderation down. You know, like maybe they will just be like, yeah, we can take it or leave it. I love that idea. I love that for them. So,
Yeah.
but you know, yeah, I like a good cocktail from time to time. So.
It'll rub off on me in my nursing home. That's
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
That's
But
true.
can we
go
talk
ahead.
about your upcoming book? You have
we
one
talk about
releasing
your
in
actual writing.
2028. Did you
I
just
have, yes. So it's been a really chaotic book series of years. So my novel Fallout came out almost a year ago. And then I also put out a writing craft guide. So like they came out within almost the same year, but not quite. And I have a new book coming out. I have two new books coming out. I have one that's called, so it's for people at my stage of life, Writing Through the Pause, Minding Midlife for Powerful Writing. That comes out in January of 27.
Love that.
Thank you. And it's all about like, oh yeah, this is you would like this as an optimist. It's like, yes, it's a time of crisis. Yes, it's a time of change and hardship and hormonal changes, and you feel like hell. But there's also a lot you can do with that can be fed back into your creative life. Because like a lot of the time, women, particularly women, but it can be anyone at this stage of life, kind of we can lose access to our, creative self. And then, and then 28, I have a novel coming out called To Sever the Connection, which is my what do I call it? My like screed against AI, but it's more than that. Obviously, I don't think anyone would want to read a book that's just anti-AI. So,
well, I think I can at least name a few. But what you just said about your the first one and about like using that emotion into your craft. I have a friend who just started therapy just a few months ago. I've been telling her that she should join because I love therapy. I go every Friday. And her therapist said, you should write this. You should put this out. And I find
it's so healing.
it is. It's so therapeutic. You're getting a cognitive dissonance, right?
Yeah.
Because what you're writing is not real, but you're able to give yourself closure and happily ever after if you're writing romance.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I love that. And what was the title of that book again?
It's called Writing Through the Pause.
Writing Through the Pause.
Like, the pause being like the change of life, menopause.
I will.
My Substack is called Writing in the Pause. And it's sort of like, I use that pause metaphorically. It's not all about menopause. It's actually mostly about writing. But, and it's interesting because there's a lot of research that shows that writing itself is healing. Like people who write about traumatic experiences are more able to process it, talk about it, share. And then I think anyone who writes fiction knows that it's a really great, like you said, it's a great way to like give yourself that distance and feel like you've gotten the emotion on the page, but you're not quite revealing the exact truth because, sometimes you don't want to. It's
and you
like
might get the ending you want finally.
You might get the ending you want. You can craft the ending you want. I mean, that's the beautiful thing. I love that. So wait, Stacey, is that your books are so brutal in phases, man. You make us wait for those endings. You must love to torture us.
Dead.
She likes to kill people.
She just likes to torture us. I know. I'm so excited. I got my first copy of Savage Lands with the Blackstone edition, and it's so gorgeous.
It's so pretty.
So pretty.
I know. And your new book cover, Lord, I'm sorry that I'm not up to speed on all the rest of your books. I'm like not trying to like just talk about Stacey, but
Stacey also just had, well, when this airs, you won't have just had your cover reveal.
So
but
beautiful.
It just revealed yesterday, right?
Yeah, I saw.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I can't wait. Yeah,
I know. I was like, ooh, it's moving in a new direction. It feels like a little bit different from your other stuff.
High fantasy, so it's really it was. I mean, again, it's the same.
It's brutal.
Yeah, it's for me.
What did you say?
It's brutal.
Oh, it's brutal. I thought you said it's fertile, and I was like, oh,
yeah,
do that.
Maybe.
I mean, I would expect nothing less.
Like if you can't do it like a teach or something like that. Like my life, I'm like, I'm single, I can't, so I'll write it.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, I love it. To this day, probably my favorite character of all in all of fiction is Sprig from your series, your little monkey, your little honey loving monkey. One of my faves.
And he's because I write it like so I'm distant from it. Like to me, he is a character and stuff like that. He woke me up so many times. I would be laughing hysterically. Mom would be like, you write that. I'm like, no, he's totally
I channeled him.
Yeah.
I know, it's so great.
For you also didn't you do also like a lot of research and stuff for like there was magazines and stuff like that you've written?
I was a freelance journalist. I mean, I still technically am. I do some on the side. So I've been a freelance journalist for 4 years, something like that. So I've written, I did a lot in like, is that what you meant?
Yeah, like you're always just like, because I know you're also asking a lot of people like, hey guys, if you into like.
Oh yeah, I was always interviewing people about some weird subject.
Yeah.
Is that like kind of like Carrie Bradshaw? Can you be my real life Carrie?
Can I just tell you how annoyed freelance writers are that like Carrie Bradshaw writes one column and makes enough to live on in New York City?
Well, like, it was decades ago.
No, there was never a time where you could write one column. I mean, yes, they paid a lot more. I mean, no, actually, I really loathed her in many ways, even though I love that show. I watched it. But
I mean, that makes sense. I just saw something.
But like teens
and 20-year-olds loved Carrie when they first watched it, and now they're
And
rewatching
then
it and they hate her.
and
Yeah.
they hate
And
her because she seems so
exactly,
cavalier.
Yeah.
That is
exactly.
interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
now
definitely a different mindset depending
because
on
we
what you've
wanted to
been through in
be
life.
like that. We wanted to feel free and like living this like carefree life, which she doesn't really
Now
live.
we
But
realize how toxic Mr. Big was
yeah,
too. Like
yeah,
not in a
right.
good
Like for
access
real.
way.
I
Like for
know.
real.
I know. I was like, you should have gone off with Barishnikov or whatever his character's name was. So the cool thing about being a freelance journalist is like I was never beholden to a single magazine or publication. And I got to write about, like, I did a lot about health and mental health and wellness writing. I did a lot of science writing. Like I interviewed scientists about their studies on like, cancer vaccines and cool random stuff. I wrote just kind of, you name the topic I've written probably about. I've done a lot of profiles. I used to also have, so in my volunteer days, I was a radio host for this. I had a literary radio show on a very small network studio. What am I trying to say? Just radio. What the hell do they call them? See, brain fart. What is that?
I think it is is it a station?
It's station,
A station.
radio station. That's the
Yeah.
word. And
I
and we were like an NPR affiliate, which meant that if somebody came to San Francisco to KQED, then we could get them through this thing called an ISDN line. So like I got to interview, like Pulitzer Prize winning writers. My little volunteer show. They didn't know that I was a nobody, right? So I got to do stuff like that just by kind of being, saying yes to things, labor of love. I wrote for Writer's Digest magazine for a long time too and did the same thing. So I've gotten to do a lot of really fun meeting cool people and finding out stuff about them.
I love
And
it.
I do love that part of my
Did you
network.
ever fangirl so hard that like you didn't know if you were going to be able to make it through?
Yeah, I mean, the one was, and I don't know, some of you may or may not know of her. She's a very literary writer. Her name is Louise Erdrich, and she's a Pulitzer Prize winner, National Book Award writer. She's written like 30 books, and I got to meet her in person and interview her and I remember sitting in front of her and just being kind of like, and just because she was like so like composed, and she seems like, I felt like I was just what's the word, just like taking up her time with my petty little questions, but she was very generous. And I've had a few like that where I was just like, I can't believe I'm talking to you. Like Chuck Palahniuk, who wrote Fight Club, I interviewed him. A few people that are, in that realm, but
You got to also tell the story about the mansplaining where like he was using your work or something like that because he didn't know your name was Jordan. He thought it was a guy.
I do vaguely. I think that was like an online conversation. Was
No,
it? I feel like it was like on.
Oh,
You
I thought
might
it was
remember
actually
better.
in person, and he came to you and like was quoting off of this. Oh no, this Jordan like said this, and you're like,
Probably
That's
that
me?
registers.
Oh my gosh, you had one of those
I do
moments?
remember that, but I
Yeah.
thought it was in my memory. It was like online, but yeah, somebody once, because my name most
They
of the
quoted
time
you, to you.
people think I'm a man if
Yeah.
they haven't seen my picture.
but he was
Still to this
totally
day.
mansplaining to you.
Yeah, he
about,
mansplained
like,
I'm pretty sure. I think it was on Twitter. I think it was back in the
Okay.
day. It
That
was like a
makes that
Twitter
track.
exchange,
Yeah.
and I was
That
just
track.
like,
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but it was funny, and I was like, yep, that's it. That's that Jordan. He sure is smart.
That's how you know you made it when somebody is
Right.
quoting you to you.
Yeah,
Right?
but
I
they're
know.
telling her she's wrong. That this
Yeah.
Jordan, no, you
I'm
don't
off.
know what you're talking about. This Jordan, she's like, that's me.
Yeah.
It's so typical. It's so typical too. I know. It's true.
Yeah.
Because
They're
I'm
always out
sure
there.
interviewing you run into like the wonderful suite, and then also probably a lot of that too.
The toughest interview subjects were male scientists.
I can
know.
see that. I come from a biology and neuroscience background.
Oh,
And
okay.
the toxicity in the way they speak to one another is alarming.
The ego.
Yeah, the ego and just
Yeah.
if you're making this hard for me, I can make your life hard type of situation. Like, but we don't need to talk about
Like
that.
vengeance. Well, it's interesting because so one of my editing clients she is in the climate sciences in Norway. She lives in Norway, but she's American. And she invited me to come out and teach at this like retreat she was hosting for climate scientists. And she was like, scientists are bad at storytelling. They don't know how to take data and make it accessible to people. So I want you to come out and teach. This part will be about storytelling. And I have never before in my life felt like I was talking to rocks or something. Like it was like I was speaking another language.
Mm-hmm.
like asking them to write in metaphors and to like translate things into, like I could see them being like, does not compute, except the women. The women were all willing to try.
Mhm.
They were willing to like play, take a risk, you know, okay, this is outside my comfort zone, but I'll try it. The men were just like,
Yeah.
so that was an interesting experience of, I really felt like I was, you know, those like dreams you have where you're, I don't know, you're in front of a crowd and you're just bombing. Like that's how I felt. And it was just because they refused to entertain
The idea.
like new
Yeah. They
ideas.
probably thought it was
Yeah.
beneath them to explain it in a different way.
Yeah. And that, like, who am I? I was just like some writer of novels.
You're
Like
just the
we're
person that was telling
scientists.
them what they needed to do for their work to matter.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, they did not. They did not. I was like, well, I was invited here, so whatever. I'm in Norway. This is could
Did
be
you at
worse.
least get paid?
I did get paid. She paid.
Good.
They paid for my flight, my hotel. I brought my family over because my husband is actually Norwegian, and he has family there that we've only ever met once. So it was a pretty cool experience
That's
all around.
beautiful. Yeah, so it was worth it.
It was
Yeah.
worth that like
Yeah.
couple hours of pain for
Yeah.
the rest of the trip.
I love
Yes.
it. For our audience, can you let us know what the Substack was that you were, what's the title of it?
It's called Writing in the Pause.
And so is everything called so everything
Just my book and I was
Okay.
writing the Substack first, and then I got the idea. Well, I had already had the idea for the book, but I was like, I wanted to kind of grasp that title. So they're related titles. Yes. And that I was in the hopes that people will kind of remember them coming, you know, perhaps. Yeah. But I'm very excited. And I'll actually have arcs of writing through the pause in the next couple months, like by summer. So I'm very excited about it.
You prefer like, because you write both, like you write kind of the fantasy and then you write more of the, you know.
I don't write fantasy. They either think I write romance or fantasy, but I would say at my books, some of my books and not all of them have like a touch of like Fortune and Grace has a touch of like
fiction.
The character has healing powers at one point.
Yeah.
I actually think of myself as a psychological suspense writer more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I would
prefer.
Yeah, that's what I'm
like the nonfiction or the fiction, you mean? I mean, my passion is novel writing. Like I come alive. I love it. I love them both in different ways, but like if I couldn't write novels, I think I've been there. I've been in a fallow period where I wasn't writing fiction and I felt very depressed. So like there's something about that process that I love and need to do. But I also love nonfiction writing. I like to analyze things and break them down into parts for people, like make it so that take complex subjects and make them digestible to others. I think that's why I like journalism, because it's like, oh, I can interview a scientist about his study and then you can read it and understand a little bit of it, right? Mm-hmm. That's that wakes me up too. So I was like, in another life, maybe I was like I don't know, like a sociologist or something. That's maybe what I should have been, other than, you know, I don't know. But
is your love language acts of service? Do you know?
I've thought about that, like receiving or giving, right? Receiving love language. Well, I do actually think it might be acts of service. Yeah.
Mine is acts of service. And you communicate what makes you happy in a way that also makes me happy. When you're able to do something to help another person on a large scale and that fills your heart up. Yeah. So it's a good book to read. A little preachy.
I have read it and like didn't stick clearly, but you know what? My bestie and I, like when we text, she'll be like, "Do you remember?" And I was like, "You know better than to start with the phrase, 'Do you remember?' to me."
I handed it to my husband and he was like, "Are we okay?" I was like, yeah, I just liked the book and I'd like to know.
Communication tool. Yeah. Well, my husband is a psychologist, so that's fun. No, it is fun.
What does he read your books?
He only reads them after. He's also a former English teacher. So like early on, I was like, I do not have the strength to hear your opinion before it goes to print. Like I just can't handle it. It'll crush me if you don't like it. So he reads them after they're published, and that's fine for me.
I probably still would be like, "Don't tell me."
Yeah. My husband.
I'm like soften it if you don't like it.
Sean's reading mine for a book club, like one a month, but he says he skips through the sex scenes, and I am like offended. I am greatly offended because I'm like, so much happens that's vital.
Yeah,
read it. Yeah.
I'm surprised that's funny. Is he like jealous?
So
well, he's also
they visually can't see it and they have to read it. It's so uncomfortable for them. They have to imagine, they just want to see it.
I know he does. He reads some because then when we're in the bedroom, I'm like, "Oh, you definitely read that. You definitely
Girl,
did."
girl, I am
But
writing a guidebook for you, so you
I know,
need to
right?
read this.
I have sent him things like of rope and stuff when I write some things. I go out there. I'm like, I
I
like to
love
do,
it.
and I sent him a picture, and he was like, I'd like to try this, and like the little bubbles came up of him like writing and then delete, writing and then delete, and then he finally sent. We literally don't have time for that. Like, I have three, like literally, I was like, okay, touche.
So
Like
funny.
maybe later.
You're all when
Retirement
they're
health
in
stuff.
college.
Like
Yeah.
down in the basement packing everybody like
That is so funny. I love it. Well, I love this whole because I read Romantasy too. I read everything and romantic suspense. I mean, not like every book, but I do pepper it into my reading. And so I love this concept that basically women writing men, or like men take note. These are the men we want,
Yes.
the
right.
ones we are writing. You
Mhm.
know,
They're all
like
on these manosphere, whatever, like, and I'm like, we're over here. We're
yeah,
giving you
wrong,
the step
wrong
like,
way.
right?
Literally.
Like
You're
we're
like, you
showing
want
you
the
what we
ladies
want.
over here. I know
Yeah.
it's really interesting. Yeah, the manosphere. It's so scary. That terrifies me.
I
Patriarchy hurts
don't know what it
everybody.
is. I'm just gonna la 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 la
Uh,
because I'm on a happy right now. I'm gonna stay in my happy. I'm
It's,
like,
you know what, you do know what it is, but you don't need to think about it.
there
Like
you go. Okay.
it's just what it sounds like. So
Yeah.
it's
My
fine.
brain has compartmentalized it and it's like, don't think right now.
Well,
Don't think about
yeah,
that.
and I don't know what your children are, but like raising a son, a teenage son in this era, like I'm so of course I'm always like, is he being radicalized?
Yeah.
No, I'm really grateful for who he is and that he is very much seems to me to like revere his dad, who's like a very good example of like an emotional, gentle, equal partnership kind of man. And also interested in art and music and reading. And that's like my son is just a lot like that. And so I was like, because you don't know, you don't know, right? There's so
Yeah.
much out of our control. But
And
I do feel like the arts save.
yes,
The
they
arts are
do.
saving
They do.
our young men.
I have boy, girl, boy, but my husband is the primary caregiver. So
That's
he's an
great.
and
excellent
he's the
example of how I
great
would
example.
love the boys to, and they're literally
Yeah.
copy and paste him
Yeah.
in almost every
Oh,
way, which is great in some
oh.
ways, and other ways I'm like, I am outnumbered. Um,
Outnumbered.
and then my
Like
daughter's
a
like a
dog and
mini
your little
me.
girl.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have my little girl, she said that she always wants to come to my nail appointments. I was like, you remember that when you're 18, 19, 20, you have to come with me. You said so. Yeah.
That's true.
All right.
I know. It's wild. Yeah.
Do you have any advice? Like, I know time is running out, but before you go, we do have a lot of writers who listen to
Mm.
our podcast, a lot of readers as well. Do you have any shining pieces of advice for staying positive, keep going, anything that you can offer? Obviously, you also have a list of books, and we will put them in the captions below for all of our writers who need to
Yeah.
read all of this. But what can you say?
Gosh. I mean, there's so much advice I could give. I think, so I wrote a book some years ago called A Writer's Guide to Persistence. And it came out of my own like dark night of the soul where I kind of thought I wasn't a writer anymore. I didn't get that big book deal. My agent couldn't sell it. I had a baby. I was just depressed. And what I came to, and the thing I find most useful for writers, like it's really easy for writers to be like, if I don't sell a book to a big publisher, if I don't, my self-published book doesn't make big numbers or whatever the thing is, to feel discouraged and to feel like I didn't make it. So I like to remind writers that what you have is a writing practice, and a writing practice incorporates everything. It's the periods of time when you're writing and when you're not writing. It's like if you go and have a coffee with another writer, that's part of your writing practice. It's when you sell books, it's when you don't sell books, it's when you research. Like if we can like kind of look at the ecosystem of your writing as a life, as a way of life, and not just this end means to an end, and that end is only fame and money, and that you remind yourself why you do it and look for the joy in it, or the passion or the curiosity, whatever word works for you, because not everybody like resonates with the same word. To me, that's more important than like any writing craft tip I can give you, or any like, love it, make it. Like I was just talking to a friend who's like, I'm going to take my writing career seriously. And I was like, career is a great word. I like career, but it also comes with this, it's incumbent upon you now to make money. Like, can it be something larger that incorporates career? Because so maybe you do make money at it, but it's also like Like you have a spiritual practice, you have a writing practice, you have a yoga practice, you have a writing practice, like it's part of your life. So I don't know if that's a little too out there, but
No, I love that because for two reasons. One, I've just stopped saying this is what I do for work, and I say this is my inspired purpose
ooh, I
because I
like
do
that.
not, I'm trying to avoid negative words in my life, and work feels negative to me. So I've changed it to inspired
Totally.
purpose. And the second one is I always tell my friends, like when their books don't do well, a book lives 1,000 lives. When you change
Mm,
the cover, when it gets a special edition, when you do
yes.
a Kickstarter, when you re-release here, or when
I
something
love that.
happens, like, and it's so true. And there's so many examples, including like TikTok resurrected from the dead many books that I
That's
hadn't even
very
heard
true.
of in like a decade, and all of a sudden they were going viral again, and the authors didn't even know what was happening. So 100%, I love everything that you just
Yeah.
said, and it resonates
Yeah.
with me greatly. So
That much I will say, I do think it's easy for writers to rush stuff out to market, and I do encourage people to really take that care with your stories and your sentences, like care about them enough to make them fantastic, but you have to love it first.
yes.
I don't think any of us would be here. This is not a job that unless you love it, I think you could really stick long to. It's
True.
it's tough.
It
Yeah, it's a
definitely
tough industry.
beats you up. It definitely does. Let's
Yeah.
keep on the high note though. So, I mean, if you guys like, what is it, sadism or masochism, this is the career for you.
Yeah.
The inspired purpose for you. Yeah.
Levels of hell.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. You like daily agony. This is the career
Literally.
for you.
Want to
That's
put
No,
your head in the oven with what was it, that other author? Like, yes, this is for
I
you.
know.
Yeah.
I know. It's true.
Yeah. We know where to
But
find
what
your
else?
Substack, but where
Yeah.
can we find you on social media if you are on social?
Um, I'm like I'm on Instagram and I'm on Facebook. I'm not, I quit my Twitter a while ago. I know we don't call it Twitter anymore, but I can't
I
say
call it
X.
Twitter. I literally
And
everybody calls
I'm
it Twitter, so yeah,
technically on TikTok, but
not on
you're not
there.
going to find much there. I'm there, but I'm not making content at the moment. So really Instagram's probably, Instagram or Facebook
And
for
you
the
still
olds.
Yeah.
you still do like developmental and stuff like that,
I
right?
still do developmental editing. And if you go to my
Easy.
website, jordanrosenfeld.net, you'll find a lot of information there about what I do, how to find me. I teach some online classes and in-person classes and things like that. So
I also recommend
hit me
anybody,
up.
if you're first starting out, she is such a great person to help you develop a story. Like,
Oh, thank you.
I mean, I don't think my career would be like, I still have you in my head,
Oh.
like, oh, I'm taking the easy way out. Jordan would totally yell at me. My mom's even like, Jordan would yell at you right now. I'm like, I know, I'm taking this, like, so it's
I love that.
great, especially when you're first starting out. You think you know how to write a story, and then you realize like what readers read and what we are writing can be
Yeah.
totally two different things.
Oh,
So
thank you for that. Yeah, I love developing stories with people. So,
That is
yeah.
wonderful.
thank
Well,
you.
for our audience, leave your comments and questions below, and we will forward them to Jordan and try to get back to you ASAP. Like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And until next time, thank you all for joining
Thank you
us.
so much.
Thank you so much for having,
Thanks,
or
you
not for
guys.
having me. Oh, thank you so much for coming
I
on.
mean, maybe I did have you. How do they
Yeah.
know?
We've all
See,
been
I love this optimism. Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
That's so fun.